Hi, everyone. Welcome to another amazing topic of conversation. First of all, I want to thank my sponsors, the Health Channel. So please sign up for their newsletter with anything that is related to your health, and Alexa's Workspaces. If you need somewhere to work, if it's just an office for an hour, a month, or a year, or a virtual office, Alexa's Workspaces can help you. So, Regina, welcome.
Hello.
It is really a pleasure having you today.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, especially what is reconnective healing practitioner?
I'm an energy healer. I work with energy, basically bringing a person to a space where they can connect to their heart and get all the noise out of their head. Because we have all those thoughts and all that loud environment around us. Sometimes we need to quiet our mind and listen to what our heart actually tells us.
But you're
And I
also
guide
a
people to
certified life coach.
Yes.
So give me an example of what you do as a life coach.
As a life coach, I help women find their balance, to get rid of the stress and anxiety in their life. I work with them one-on-one, helping them through the steps that they need to go through to find what matters to them. Because a lot of times we are so twisted with everything that's happening and how everybody else feels that we forget to listen to how we feel and why we're doing certain things. We become on autopilot mode and we forget what's important. We do it because it's expected of us, because certain things need to be done a certain way, even though our heart and our intuition tells us to do certain things one way. We follow what the outside persistently is pushing to tell us to do what to do.
That is 100% right.
So in my session, somebody would come in if they want an energy healing. I prefer to first give the energy healing session, because what happens, it kind of puts you in a trance of meditation, of connecting to yourself. You experience, every person has their own way of experiencing things. But then whatever comes up for them, I work with them one-on-one, helping them resolve the issue.
Oh, I know that you're an author.
Yes.
And you're an author on parenting. And this is really our conversation for today.
Yes.
So please show me your book.
My book is on
your book, Conscientious Parenting. So
nurturing the connection. It's extremely important to not just be a parent, but to have that connection with your child. And it all begins at early age. It actually begins at the time of conception. How a person who's bringing life into this world feels at the time of having this child. Because from my perspective, having a child is a gift. The gift of being honored to guide somebody in developing their personal talent, their personal individuality, themselves as a person. So to be able to do that, it's important to be aware and to know why you do certain things. Are you doing them because the book tells you to do it? Are you doing it because your mom or your grandma used to do it? Or are you doing it because you know from your heart this is the right path to take?
What inspired you to write the book?
My kids. I have two amazing daughters. They're a year and a half apart. One is in university. The other one is in she's starting her last year in high school next year. And last year, when I went on the tour for universities, and one of the nights, I just said, I've been thinking of writing the book for years. But that particular weekend, when I saw her go and do her tour of the university, I just sat down and I finished it. And it felt so good, because all those things that people have been asking me along the way in lifetime, like, why is your daughter doing this? Why are you this? There were so many different questions. So I kind of figured, why not just put it in writing and have it like a little, it's a very thin book. It's only like 74 pages, but it has a lot of information, not just to skim through, but just stop and think and answer the questions for yourself. Because a lot of times we do things with our kids unconditionally, like conditionally. my point is to make it unconditional. Like if your child gets a bad grade, you're still going to love your child. But why do you need to reprimand them? Why do you need to do that? There's a different way of explaining what grading system is all about. There's a different way of bringing it to the table and saying, listen, it's just a measurement of how much you know the material. Maybe you need to study a little more. It's not about how good of a person you are or how much I love you if you get an A. So there's a lot of different
Correct.
things involved.
It's not about the bribing, because I remember a lot of parents like bribe. Okay, if you get good grades, you're gonna do this. And it's about connecting with your child
Absolutely.
and teaching them the importance. So you talk about being your authentic self. What is that? What is being your authentic self?
Well, first of all, you have to have an integrity. If you say something, you do it. You don't just say, listen, you tell your child, do not do this, but then you sit down and you do it. What kind of example are you setting for yourself
Well,
and your child?
we
If you don't,
teach by example.
I'm sorry?
We teach by example.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But a lot of times, if things happen like that, listen, my daughter is on her iPad watching a movie and exciting, and then I tell her to put it down. But when she puts it down, she comes to talk to me, and I'm on the computer. I'm working. It's important, but I'm working. It's my family time, but I'm working, and I'm telling her, listen, I'm busy now. Why don't you step aside, go play on your iPad, go from there. I mean, it's a day-to-day task that happened today when people are in the high-tech world. But if we're not showing example, listen, even if she comes in, if I am working, I have to close my computer and say, listen, excuse me, but this is my time with my child, and explain what I'm doing and be there for her presently, being with there in awareness of that moment of the now. Because every time we push it away, 10 years down the line, there's something important and you want to share with your child, and she's on the phone with her friend. She's like, Mama, hold on. I can't talk right now. I'm so busy right now. And then we're thinking, why are the kids are not calling us? Why are the kids are not doing that? And well, they're mirroring our behavior, the way we treated them when they were little.
100% they're mirroring our behavior. I remember a time when my husband is from the coast of Colombia, and he loves to say bad words. This is his nature. And when my kids were growing up, I said, okay, they're going to follow in his footsteps, and I'm literally going to freak out if they start saying bad words. And so I tried to turn it around. My kids don't say bad words, because it was very difficult on how not showing them, like, not to mirror exactly what he was doing. And it freaked out when my son, his first word was a bad word when he was 1. And so I needed to do something. And it was like counter mirroring and showing them that it didn't sound nice.
But what's important is also not just saying, listen, it's not nice, don't use, explain what the word means.
Correct.
Explain how it's going to be taken out of context and going to make you look bad.
Correct. I didn't expand on that, but I did explain to them, and that's how I got them not to say bad words when they were growing up. Because they mirror everything we do.
Absolutely.
They mirror it totally. So you have a chapter. You have a chapter in your book about social media. And this week, Florida's governor signed a bill that bans children under 14 from social media platforms. And from 14 to 15, they need their parents' consent. What do you think about that? What's your thought about that bill?
I have a thing with government getting involved in people's home. The way society is built, we want to make sure that the teachers do their job, let everybody else do the job, but where are the parents at this? I understand where he's trying to come in, because But there are a lot of kids who would use parents' accounts to go on social media. That's not going to stop the problem.
Correct. That is not going to start the problem.
And that's not going to, I understand the
Just-
message he's trying to send, but I think this message has to be sent strictly to the parents because they're the ones who have the final say in it. Why? Because if I'm busy, I'm going to the mall with my friends, and my friends are, we're having a nice conversation. And, you know, the child is sitting there, 4 years old, all of a sudden is having a tantrum. Instead of getting up and paying attention to the child, what's going to happen? Mom takes off her phone
and
it's not
gives
the
it to
child's
them
phone,
to keep them quiet.
and gives it and keeps them a pacifier so they're quiet so she can go on with her conversation. I had a similar situation at the time. We didn't have iPhones when my child was 2 years old. I went to lunch with my friends. We had a preset date to go out for lunch. I had 2 kids at that time. My little one was about 8 months, and my oldest one was almost 2 years old. A terrible tooth. We come into the mall, Aventura Mall, it was a beautiful day, wonderful. My friends were there. We're waiting to go out for lunch, waiting to get into Cheesecake Factory. All of a sudden, my child is having a tantrum. And she gets out of the stroller. She's trying to get out, and she's crying, and she's having a meltdown. So what do? My daughter says, she's losing it, and I've never had experienced that before. As the first time terrible too is experienced. My kids are very calm. I believe do not allow your kids to cry. But basically, I pick her up and I say, what's going on? And she says, I want this. I said, honey, if you don't stop crying, we're going home. And she continues to cry. I take her to the bathroom. I wipe her face. I put her in a stroller, and I tell my friends, we're going home. And they're like, but no, how could you do that? I said, we're going home. We get into the car. As I buckle her into the car seat, she stopped crying, and she doesn't want to cry anymore. She wants to go back because she knows we were supposed to go to Disney store, and we're supposed to. I said, no, we're going home. We came home, did our routine, had lunch at home. My friends were upset because I stood them up. But what I did, I set an example for my child. I've never had experienced anything like that with her ever again, because when it came time to have a meltdown moment, she knew if mom said something, she will do it. So it's what this means. You set a precedent, and you're in the power of now. You're in that moment. You're not thinking, oh my God, about my friends. You're not thinking about that. You're doing what's best. Yes, it's not best for that moment, maybe for me, but in the long run, it's the best thing that I could have done for myself and my child, because he understands the boundaries of in behavior. The same thing goes with the technology. People use it as a pacifier. They assume that, listen, let the social media raise my children.
Yeah, we used to give them colors and something to draw when we went to a restaurant. We didn't have
talk to them, describe to them. You know, I had an experience where moms would tell me, my kid doesn't eat anything. I cannot have her eat anything. She has an issue with food. I said, but your kid is right here. You hear what's coming out of your mouth. Even if she wanted to eat, she wouldn't eat because you're constantly repeating the words that she does not eat. Leave her in my house for 2 days, she's going to eat everything. Because I have no problems with my kids eating ever, or my friends' kids when they came in.
So going back to social media, do you agree that you don't agree, because you just told me that you don't agree the government?
I agree to an extent that yes, there should be some limitations on apps, and they should not be able to purchase it without parents' permission. That part I agree 100%. But I think parents are the ones who need to disclose that they have kids and have some responsibility for what their kids are doing.
But wait, let me ask you something. When you say no to a kid to something, that's going to trigger immediately their intuition, their kind of, why are they saying no to me? And it's going to triple what they want to look and how they're going to use social media, because once it's banned, you want to do it.
But it's all about setting the right boundaries. If you
how do you set a boundary? Like, how are they going to enforce that bill? If it was based on education, if it was based on what social media is good for, and not just going in to watch the stupid videos.
But again, we cannot
I'm
have the
sorry
school.
that I said the stupid video, because for some people
But
then they
you're
might
100%
say,
correct. There's a lot of, yes.
this is a stupid video. But we need to teach them that everything you do, at least learn something about it.
Well, that's the importance that I've been trying to send when I wrote my book as well. It's important. What are your values in your household? What are the boundaries in your household? How do you communicate with your kids? If you do not have that established from day one, no matter what bill is going to be passed, nothing's going to work.
Correct.
You have to make sure that you have an open communication and you explain for what purpose you're doing this, for what purpose you're sitting on TikTok for hours and like a vegetable who's not even paying attention, and then go to the mirror. I don't want to go out because I don't look as good as these people on the picture.
But let's put it on the other side, where there's always those kids that are extremely shy. There are the kids that are always being bullied in school, that found a safe space and some friends, like via Facebook, that they can actually relate to and have a conversation. So banning those kids from actually connecting to a group like themselves can also be detrimental for them.
Oh, well, maybe they should not be like, my kids say Facebook is for grown-ups. It's not for us. It's not interesting for me.
That was the
Shouldn't there be special targeted age group?
A special targeted age group and some other platform. You're right. Okay, Facebook used to be for the kids and now is for the grown-ups. I know all the platforms are now based on generations. But I think it would be more about teaching them and explaining to them that it's about connecting. It's not about the self-image and how people look. And that's what I think it's doing the most damage.
Well,
of not being, like you said, not being authentic. So
not being
comparing themselves to someone that has literally filtered a whole picture and that they're having this wonderful life, but what is really going on behind it? And I think that is the key on teaching
Gladys,
children.
It's extremely important to teach the kids to use their voice. Using social media is just one aspect of it.
Correct.
It's just one thing. And what's happening right now in the world, they're making it the thing. People forgot what it means to go outside. People forgot what it means to sit down and just talk to each other. People forgot what it means a playtime. I mean, come on, our kindergartens don't have playtime for kids. Why?
Yeah,
and then
that is the biggest issue. Instead of social media, they should put in playtime in schools.
Well, listen, my daughter graduated school last year. So 12 years ago, we had kindergarten. She was lucky enough to have like 15-minute break when they went into a little play area. We grew up in my kids grew up in Sunny Isles. Now, the classes after that, they took those 15-minute breaks away because they believe it's better for kids to study than to sit. And then I hear moms saying, oh my God, my child has ADD and they cannot sit still. And your child is a child. They need physical activity. They need interaction. They need to move. They need to express themselves. There's more ways to do that. Social media is just one little aspect of it. What happens with today's society, everybody decided, okay, it's here. I don't have to do anything else. Let me just use that. That's what I see. Because from my understanding, everything is good when it's in moderation. When there's too much of it, it becomes toxic, like anything else in life.
Correct. I see what you're saying, and you're totally right. So it's how do we reach those people that with more social interactions, with more free time to play? Like literally, when was the time that you used to play a board game?
We do sometimes.
No, we do. Like with my grandkids, their biggest wow is when we do, I call it Monopoly Day, because it takes a whole day to finish a Monopoly game.
Well, the
And
most
it,
important thing is that we don't lose the power of today. The fact that it's gorgeous outside and you come from home from work and you get busy to sit on the couch or get on your email or get on your TikTok.
no, but
No,
you can
take
sit on
your
your
dog out.
couch and you can talk to each other and go through the whole day. And what about your day? What happened good? What happened bad? What
Have dinner together.
have they,
Cook
that
dinner together. Explain where the food comes from together.
somebody asked me that what was the two things that I did when my children were growing up that was like literally, I don't know if it was mandatory, because I know that each one had a different schedule, but at least 4 or 5 times a week we had to have dinner together as a family.
Yeah.
That was one thing. And I didn't have a PlayStation. They could go to any one of their houses of their friends to play with the PlayStation, but I didn't have it in my house. I refused to have it.
See, we had the PlayStation. We had the PlayStation, the Connect, and I would play with them. That's
Okay.
what I did. I would play with them. We would have. I didn't get the games that they had to sit on the couch. We got the games where the little tiger cuddler was rolling on the floor. We were
No, but
running around and
now,
dancing. We were, yeah,
but
and they
now
were little.
apparently they play with each other, connecting through the internet. So it's like, my daughter was explaining to me that they actually play with their friends when they connect in the game, even though they're not together. So during COVID, I had to give up because it was understandable. That was their only way to connect with other kids when they were each one in their house. So at least they had an interaction through a game. But now that COVID is over, we need the more interactions of playing outside, playing sports. And
Have play
yes,
dates. Let your kids go to the mall. Go with them
correct.
if you need to. You need to be around there. You need to take them out. You need to have them. It's all about experience. Our whole life is about experience. It's about experiencing and living it to the fullest possible way we can. Teaching them this is not allowed. This is bad for you. This is not good for you. You're not eating well. You're not doing that. If you don't do this, you're not going to succeed. You're basically telling every day you're taking a slapping and slapping, and then
Correct. That
after a
every
certain
day
point,
is a no.
yeah.
Yeah. But Regina, thank you
Yeah.
so much for a wonderful conversation. I want to
Thank
leave
you.
everyone with a quote. The ethics is the basic fundament for the rules of the game. So
Pretty good.
thank you, everyone. And above all, stay safe. I hope that for the next one, there will be peace in the world. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.